Welcome to Frog Talk, an Auction Frogs podcast series all about events and fundraising in a post-2020 world. For more information on Auction Frogs and the services we offer, visit auctionfrogs.org today.
Hi there, it's Cory Mikhals, and today we are going to be talking about the ways that nonprofits are raising more revenue with mobile bidding, streamlining the whole experience for their online auction, for their live event, their virtual event, whatever that happens to be. I have Melanie in the studio with me today. Now, you know, this was something when I was first working with Auction Frogs, as far as being an MC for these different galas and events that were going on. And that was my first experience seeing that shift from the old-fashioned paper silent auction that had been done for decades, of people going around and crowding around a table trying to get their bids in there, and then having to take away from the rest of the event to then go back up to the table and have to look at, did someone outbid me? Did they walk around behind me? And there was a lot of money left on the table that way. But that's just one of the ways that mobile bidding has streamlined that process.
Yeah, I think the best thing about mobile bidding is that people can bid anywhere in the room on the items that they care the most about. Mm-hmm. People walk into your auction, they're able to peruse the items that are there, and then they can place their bids from their phone. And then from their phone, they can continue to bid the rest of the evening.
Well, and they know, without having to get up and go check, they'll get an alert saying, someone outbid you. And then at that point, you have the ability to do a couple of things. You can, if auto bid is set up on it, then you can just put on that item, that trip, that photo package, that whatever it happens to be, that I'm willing to go as high as X dollar. And then when someone outbids you, it just automatically bids for you all the way until you get to your high bid amount that you put in. You don't have to do anything until it hits that high bid. Then you'll get a notification saying, hey, do you want to put on more, or, what do you want to do? And it makes it so simple because you can do it while you're eating dinner. You can do it while the events are going on. If you're up getting a beverage, this is saying when we're able to do the live events again, obviously. But it just makes it so much easier and such a better experience.
Yeah, and I think the nice thing about having mobile bidding for an event package is how easy it makes check-in.
Yes.
Because from a bidding standpoint, it's a rock solid approach to make bidding as easy as possible for everyone in the room.
Right.
The nice thing about mobile bidding is it does engage more bidders in activity, and they tend to be more competitive in their bids because no one can see what their bids are. So they are able to, like you said, set their auto bid. They can even force that item into a bid war at the end of the auction if they want to. So that's kind of fun too. It's a great way to raise extra revenue. But the thing that I think is really cool about the check-in process with mobile bidding is that you are able to walk up to the registration desk. You're able to tell them your name. They send you a text message and off you go. It's that simple. And it's touchless, which in this particular environment is a pretty important thing to keep in mind, especially for those areas of a country where they're allowed to have in-person events now. And there aren't very many places that are doing that. And there are some that are like, ooh, we're thinking maybe we will. But that's a great way to keep everyone safe.
Well, and pandemic or not, it just makes it so much easier. And especially end of the night. How many times have you been at an event? You don't even know if you want a silent auction item. So you've got to get up into the line and then wait, see if you got it. If you didn't, then you just wasted the whole time in that line. If you did, then you're still waiting to get up there, pay for your item, then you're able to leave. Usually by the end of a 3-hour, 4-hour event, you're ready to go home. It was great. It was wonderful, but you want to go. Here you can, because it'll tell you, you won the bid. You can then pay for your item. All you got to do is just go grab it, and you're done.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's really nice for just the people running the auction is that it eliminates all the silent auction data entry, so that your staff can actually enjoy the evening than just work the evening. And I think that that's one of the biggest benefits for an auction organizer, which is what I used to do.
Okay.
So.
Well, and with that, you're getting the whole analytics, you're getting all of the information, and it's all done integrated into that mobile bidding process.
Yep.
Which is wonderful. So it is such a better way to be able to get people engaged in that bidding process, keep them engaged. That way they're not forgetting, and then all of a sudden the silent auction is over. They're able to get in with the touchless check-in, the check-out, all of that, and just be able to focus on their experience with your nonprofit. There really is no downside to doing that.
No, and I think a lot of our clients who are trying mobile bidding for the first time have been surprised that it was as effective as they thought it would be. There's a lot of people who say, well, I have an older demographic,
yes.
Or they say that they want to be able to keep people from being distracted during their program. And we find that the older demographic maybe might need a little help finding their place to check in and get it all set up. But once it's set up, they rock and roll and they don't have any problem with it. It's really, really simple. The other thing is that just the idea that you can keep the bidding open as long as necessary without drawing away from, there's no notifications that are happening that are like loud and,
nope.
Distracting. And so when those people get a text message, their phone will vibrate. They'll push the link, they'll make their bid, and they're back to you. I mean, it's so much faster and easier and less distracting than paper bidding is. So we have a lot of clients that leave their paper bidding auctions open through their dinner, and people are constantly getting up and checking those bids. So it definitely is more engaging.
Well, and then they have to make that decision. Are you going to close it prior to keynote speaker? Are you going to close the silent auction prior to the live auction starting? And so either way, you're leaving money on the table. With this, you can be able to keep it going until the end of the evening. It's not going to take away from a keynote speaker. It's not going to take away from the live auction experience. So you're not competing with other things. You're streamlining that. And I think, you hit the nail on the head with I think that was one of the biggest pushbacks that I've heard is the older demographic. Mm-hmm. Well, that's why our staff is there, to help them through that process. And then, yes, once they're shown, it's like, oh, that's all? It's great. The other one that I think, and I don't know, this one might even be tougher to get past, is this is the way we've always done it. How many times have you heard that?
So many times.
We've done it for 10 years. We've done it for 20 years. And so change is tough. People push back and are resistant to change, but it's okay. We have to be able to evolve. And this is the best way you can evolve your live event and make sure that you are maximizing your revenue that's coming in.
Yeah, and I think the silent auction is often forgotten once live auction starts.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of times a lot of value tied up in silent auctions. I had a client, this was at the very beginning of last year, right before COVID hit Idaho. They were doing mobile bidding at their auction, and she, in the past, doing paper and pen on their silent auction, they had had their event for 10 years and they had never broken $8,000 in revenue on their silent auction. Mm-hmm. Now, their silent auction, from a value standpoint, was worth almost double that, but they had never been able to raise even 10 grand on their silent auction. Well, the first time they'd used mobile bidding, very similar crowd, demographics were very typical for the year. The crowd was actually a little smaller than it has been years past, and they didn't have as many items either in their silent auction. And they ended up raising $15,000 just because of mobile bidding. So it's definitely one of those things that people think is going to be tricky or it's going to be scary, but people do embrace change. And what I think is interesting about that is this is the perfect time to help them learn to embrace change, because everybody's used to having to pivot right now.
I was going to say, our whole world is nothing but change right now.
That's all we do, right?
We're adapting every day. We're evolving every single day to what's going on around us. So, yeah, you're right. This is the perfect time to do that. Now, Mel had hit on the bid wars, which is another part of the mobile bidding process. And what the bid wars is that when it gets down to the end, in the old tried and true way of doing silent auctions, there you've got your MC and it's the 5, 4, 3, and 1. Okay, it's closed. Well, that's it. You might have wanted to bid more, but you couldn't get up there, or someone's crowding the table, slowly putting in their last bid so that they can be able to get it. Well, with the mobile bidding, where the bid wars, it's awesome because when it gets down to that last 10 minutes, someone puts in a bid, or whatever time you put, but typically about the last 10 minutes, someone puts in a bid. Say they do it with 30 seconds to go. It extends that time. And you're going to get a notification that you got outbid. You're able to bid. It extends the time a little bit more. And it will keep extending that time until there is only one, whether it's you, whether it's the person you're bidding against. But everyone has not only a fair chance of getting that item, but you're making 20, 30, 40, 50% more, maybe even higher, depending on how much they're willing to keep going. That bid war could actually technically go on long after the event's over if there's 2-3 people that are battling back and forth. So why lose that money just because you always think, well, you have to just close everything all at once? And that's the way it is. Why? Why do you want to leave that money out there that could be going to the great work that your organization is doing?
Yeah, and I think that when you talk about bid wars in a mobile setting like that, with an online auction, it prevents a couple of other things. But with mobile bidding, I think what's really great about it is that those items can be bid on for days after your auction closes. If they're willing to commit to every 10 minutes going in and placing a bid, or they set an auto bid that can get them through the night. I mean, those things can happen. And it's amazing how much more revenue occurs during the last 20 minutes of your auction anyway. So your silent auction items are going to get a lot more attention during those last 10 minutes as it is. So bid wars just allows you to capture their attention for a little while longer and really extend out the revenue that you can build from there. Well,
so you see all the benefits to mobile bidding, how you can be able to raise more money for your cause, streamline it for your fans, your people that are there, your donor base is going to have such a better experience. You're going to raise more money. No one loses in this process. So if you want to find out more about mobile bidding and other ways to be able to streamline your events, whether those are online events, live events, we all cross our fingers that we're going to be able to have some form of those again. I'm sure we will sometime. But just give a call, and one of our fundraising specialists will get in touch with you and give you all the ways that we can be able to help your experience.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Frog Talk, an Auction Frogs podcast series all about events and fundraising in a post-2020 world. For more information on Auction Frogs and the services we offer, visit auctionfrogs.org today.